Hello and welcome to News Hit, the show about Finnish and global news. I'm your host, Zambino. In the news this week, counterfeit currency reports are up by a third in the last year. The number of fake euro banknotes found in circulation in Finland has steadily increased over the past 5 years. You see, I had to lay low for the first 3 years. Don't want to arouse suspicion immediately. The 20 euro denomination was the most frequently detected as a counterfeited note, with 629 discovered. That means that there's still 371 still out there. I guess. Luckily, counterfeiting will become less of an issue as we move towards an all-electronic payments. So soon counterfeiters will just have to sneakily hold a library card to the card reader and go, boop. The authenticity of a banknote can be checked using a number of simple tests, such as by tasting it for those trace amounts of cocaine that all money in circulation has. No, seriously, Google it. The main culprit of faking banknotes was found to be grandparents who have to give their money to ungrateful grandkids for their birthday. Lil punks. Next up, Michelin awards the first star to a vegan restaurant ever in France. Restaurant Honor, or Origine Non Animal, in the city of Arras, was rewarded after initially struggling to get the funding to even open its doors. Now that the Michelin star is attracting snobby customers, they're struggling to keep the doors closed. How do you know a Michelin restaurant is vegan? You read the Michelin restaurant guide. The humble owner, Claire Villet, who runs the restaurant, said she simply followed in the footsteps of others, although they were hard to find since their carbon footprint was so small. Although it's not been all smooth sailing, Claire Villet did face some backlash when it was found that there was a rat under her chef's hat all along. Upon hearing Claire Villet's secret ingredient was blood, sweat and tears, many customers were quite upset. The top French food critic was quoted as saying, "I am the top French food critic," which is something only a top French food critic would say. The next story is drug driving reaches record levels in Finland. Driving under the influence of drugs has tripled over the past decade, according to Lannan and Media. In unrelated news, today I'm celebrating my 10-year anniversary of having my driver's licence. Preliminary police figures indicate that in 2020, officers stopped some 11,000 motorists for driving under the influence of drugs. Police officers can't always be there to perform routine checks, but thankfully Finland has a lot of speed cameras. A speed camera is like a normal camera, except it stays awake for 10 days in a row and then quits high school. It is thought that the reason for this increase is that many drivers were confused by the term road trip. It turns out every single one of those 11,000 drug drivers pulled over were on their way to a Hesburger drive-thru at 3 a.m. And finally, a haggis has been launched into the edge of space in celebration of Burns Night. Now, Scottish people celebrate Burns Night on the 25th of January in celebration of the life and works of national poet Robert Burns. And then we forget about him for the rest of the year. The people behind this project faced many obstacles, but they threw their food in the air like they just don't care. And the scientists wanted to know, if you put haggis into space, how long does space survive? The haggis was attached to a weather balloon, and tonight the forecast is awful. I've been your host, Zambino. Thank you. Goodbye.